Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Hey there. Look, it's Woody Paige. I'm Brandon Krisztal. I've already lost my voice 2 days in.
How did
this
you do that?
extravagant.
How did you do that? How could you be at the Super Bowl and lose your voice?
I don't know. And it's very disappointing because, as I've told you, and while I haven't been to 47 Super Bowls like you have, I've been to 19. This is my 19th time covering the week. My 15th game on Sunday. I have earned losing my voice late in the week plenty times.
Okay, well, you don't have to talk much. Just
Get out
like
of the
a
way.
sentence and I'll take over.
That's Woody Paige. Guerilla Sports is After the Horn, supersized edition. Shelby Harris will be along. Chad Brown will be along. We have a long list of people that are going to stop by.
Vic Lombardi's
Vic Lombardi is going to join us here shortly.
But you and I walked around. We're at the Moscone Convention Center, and we talked to about 50, 60 people that are going to be coming on the show over the next 3 days, and people that I think a lot of people would like to listen to.
Yeah.
Mina Kimes has developed herself. Stephen A. Smith is a guy that's going to come on. We're going to have to recheck the mics when he comes on because he's going to yell even harder than me.
He and I can just share.
And Brandon Marshall, who came up to me today, and he said he was telling his family, when I played for the Broncos, Woody would pick on me all the
Wide
time.
receiver Brandon Marshall.
Yeah, as you said, there's so many Brandons that have been involved with the Broncos. And so he said, Woody would put me down all the time. And I said, well, you called me a clown after practice.
Yeah.
We have become really great friends over the years. And he's working, putting a media company together in Fort Lauderdale, South Florida. And so we talked to Chris Sims has already had a good week where he's talked about Sean Payton not going for the field goal on fourth down. So we kind of have been out investigating. It's sort of a who's who here. And in a lot of cases, it's a who's that. And I'm talking to a guy over here, and I went, oh, it's good to see you, Donovan. And Brennan says, that's not Donovan.
Baron David.
Yeah.
But Donovan was also nearby.
Yes. Anyway,
So,
we're having some fun, and we will be with you live over the next 3 days.
next 3 days
And the show will go on and on until
until
his voice.
my
is
voice.
lost.
Well, luckily Shelby will be here to help sub in.
And I was going to say, when your voice goes, there are numbers of people from radio stations and podcasts all over the country. I'll just put you in trouble.
That'd be much better. So, like I mentioned, you've been to 47 of these. So this is number 48 in your estimation?
I actually stopped counting. Someone did ask me in a bar last night where we were staying, and he said, how many has it been? I said, do you mean Super Bowls or Super Bowl weeks?
Sure.
Because you remember when the Harbaugh brothers were in a Super Bowl in New Orleans.
2013.
And I said, if people remember that because of his brothers, but they also remember that was a blackout
100%.
game. And so I had decided to go home because I've done so much in New Orleans all week, and I went, I'll fly home and watch it at home. And I'm sitting there watching it, and I went, I'm glad I'm not in there.
Right.
Blackout.
Your head
I
goes
think it was
to
about 38 minutes or something that was blacked out. So I started with number 9 to kind of figure out where,
60. So
that's 51.
51. Did you go last year to New Orleans? Did you go to New Orleans?
I'll try to cover
Talk for me.
you.
Did you go to New Orleans last year?
Last year? No.
So,
That's one of,
so this is your 50th. There you go.
Yeah. So anyway,
Well,
I started with 9, and that was well known for people who are old, but people will remember the Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers had a couple of Super Bowls.
Yeah.
They were fantastic. Lots of lit squad, had a great catch. We had great quarterbacks, great defensive teams on both sides. And what I remember most about it, great game. And I remember that's when they filmed the movie Black Sunday. Robert Shaw as the detective.
right.
And I watched during the course of the game, Robert Shaw, security guards stopped him from going on the field. And so actually in the movie, it looks like it's real because they didn't know who he was.
So it was real.
He had all the press passes and they were making a movie and everything. So they stopped him. But more importantly, for me, watching the blimp, which was supposed to blow up the Super Bowl. And what's funny about why I would bring this up is that the NFL approved
A blimp exploding.
They approved an attack by assassins and people that were going to destroy the Super Bowl. And can you imagine going to the NFL right now and say, "Oh, well, you'd like to do a movie, a sequel maybe to Black Sunday, where a plane flies into the stadium and kills everybody." I know at home you're thinking, "What are you talking about?" The NFL approved not a domestic, worldwide attack on the Super Bowl, and that was part of the end of the show where the blimp, I'm not giving anything away, lands
No spoiler alert.
in the middle of the stadium, the Orange Bowl, and it hits in the movie some of the light standards. And I'm watching that, and it's kind of faking that, but the blimp does land on the stadium, but it had happened earlier in the days because you have Steelers and Cowboys running in every direction. So anyway, that was
your first. That's a pretty good first Super Bowl.
Yeah,
but better than mine. Speaking of McNabb, that was the first Super Bowl I got to go to. I'd gone to the week of the year before at Houston, Jacksonville, which was a bit of a logistical nightmare. But that was the game where McNabb famously threw up on the field. T.O. coming out of the broken leg had 10 catches after missing a month, but obviously the Patriots won.
What the NFL wanted to do with the Super Bowl after it got established, like number 3 is number 4, so let's predict win. They wanted to always take it to other cities. Not only would, in the middle of winter, people watching the game would see this great weather out there, but they could get the media, get the fans to come to Miami, LA. So you're talking about your first Super Bowl was in Jacksonville. It was one of the coldest Super Bowls in history.
I remember, this is what I remember. I'm sitting in the auxiliary media, so the main press box, which is where Woody Paige gets to sit. Lesser media is outside. Ox box. They put up a table. You can work. It's got a plugs for your computers. Jesse Palmer is doing Canadian TV with the TV host. And I've been in business about 5 years at this point. I see him and his partner from Canada bringing beers to their media seats. And then they spill it on the guy in front of him who's working. And the guy was wearing a heavy rain jacket, winter jacket. So it dried in 2 seconds. Like, "Oh, we're so sorry. Can we buy you a beer?" And I was like, "I'm working." But I remember how cold that was because of Jesse Palmer's partner spilling his beer on the guy in front of him who had a parka on and was totally fine.
I'll tell you, we were talking about weather, and I want to go off in a minute because you and I have just seen some major trade happen in the NBA. I'd like to talk about that. And there was also one overnight where Harden goes to another team. He goes to LeBron's old team, trying to win a championship. Just give you a little weather background. There was an ice storm in Dallas for Super Bowl. There was a snowstorm in Atlanta for Super Bowl that I was at. Jacksonville had temperatures leading up to the game of 23 degrees in Jacksonville, Florida. I was at number 48 when the Broncos played in New York City.
Missed the snowstorm by.
Yeah, and it wasn't that terribly bad there. But I've also covered Super Bowls in Detroit, where it was snowstorm. And Minneapolis.
A couple times, but I just remember the most recent one.
Every time they rebuild a new stadium, the Super Bowl goes there.
I'm so glad Buffalo didn't put a roof on.
If you are listening or watching in Denver, be aware that the Super Bowl will come to Denver. This hasn't been a big story, but the NFL gives a city the Super Bowl for building a new stadium.
If it's got a covered roof and isn't in a warm weather city, isn't. So Buffalo, no roof, no Super Bowl. Cleveland, roof, Super Bowl. Chicago, Super Bowl. Nashville, Denver, all these new stadiums. DC.
So it will be finished
31.
31.
So the
So you would
32
guess
season,
32.
33
So
Super Bowl.
so it will be about 10 years from now.
I guess 7 years.
How about
7 years
this? The Super Bowl in Denver, Super Bowl 69. Don't you think that'll be remembered forever?
I think that's
Isn't that the right one?
best-selling Super Bowl merch of all time. Will be Super Bowl 69.
You and I, as I said, went around and we've talked to maybe 50, 60 people. Some of the people at Radio Row that are doing shows. I talked to Stephen A. Smith for a little bit. He was yelling and screaming as he always did.
Screaming A. Smith.
And anyway, I said to you, our table is 29. And I said, who's the most famous athlete with the number 29?
Jaquan McMillan.
And you said him, which is true, at Denver. But for the people that are here, it would be Kellum.
Eric Dickerson, Hall of Fame running back, number 29 for the Rams.
So just a funny sidelight is whenever I tell people, we want you on the show the next 3 days, and they go, yeah.
With all these tables and numbers you see behind us here and around us.
And every one of them says, where are you? And I go, Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson, easy, 29.
So that's easy to remember saying 42.
Right. All these numbers.
So go through that. So we've got a crowd that's watching us. I don't know why.
I think they're just they want to know what you've got to say.
Well, it was a famous movie called Escape from Alcatraz.
Right.
And there's a question of whether Clint Eastwood actually made it from.
Yeah.
I think the movie ends with him having an ice cream cone walking down the street near the wharf. That was based on a true story of 3 guys escaping. And the belief is they didn't really get from Alcatraz. Last time here, Broncos played the 15th Super Bowl
Panthers
2 years ago, and I get my shows for ESPN from Alcatraz.
How was it getting out there?
It's easy.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it once, but
then you take a ferry.
To do it every day, we got to go somewhere, right? Less traffic.
Yeah, and so there are a lot of people that ESPN is actually following. I think it's NBC's doing.
NBC has the game, yeah.
NBC's sending some of their people, including I think Chris Sims,
Tony Dungy. I think it's Tony Dungy, Jack Collinsworth, and Rodney Harrison.
Yeah. So we talked to Chris Sims earlier about he's had a controversial. Well, it's an opinion.
Yeah.
Chris and I talked about when he was briefly with the Broncos. I actually opined that they should start him in the game, and they did against the Washington
Redskins.
Yeah, and he got to play one half.
Kyle Orton was hurt, and they put in a hurt guy because it was not going well at all for Chris.
And he's still bitter because he said, I was better than Kyle Orton.
Like, not today.
And he said, Josh McDaniels, brought me in to actually start for the team. And he said, I outplayed Orton during training camp. And he said, but he told himself Orton. I told him why that happened. He had been told.
Right.
He had been told by Joe Ellis. The story that really hadn't been told. Joe Ellis said, before you trade Orton, you got to at least give him a chance. You got to put him out there on the field, see what he does. So Josh McDaniels fully intended to get rid of him.
He didn't even really want him. They wanted to get rid of Cutler and like, do you want Orton? Alfred always tells the story, and the guy was like, do you want Orton? And Josh is like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll take him.
Yeah,
but that wasn't even the intent. They just wanted to get rid of Cutler.
He actually wanted Josh McDaniels, and I just saw him being interviewed.
10th Super Bowl as an OC.
He would tell me that he could turn Tim Tebow into a quarterback. He said, if I put a towel
I've never seen the drill.
If I put a towel under his arm, he'll get a better. But Tim threw like he was a baseball pitcher, which he was.
Elongated.
Yeah. He was coming back from way back here. So anyway, we'll be joined by Tim at some point. And
that's a left-hander that could throw a football.
Yeah, and the son of it, quarterback and broadcaster himself. And it's funny that a lot of talk around the NFL is more sons becoming head coaches in the league.
I talked to Kaylin Kaler, who works at ESPN now. She wrote a story a few years ago when she was working for The Defector. The number's like it was 120 or 160 coaches in the NFL who had dads that either coached and or played in the NFL, and that was then. The number hasn't gone down. But you look at this year, and you talk to people in Vegas, Pete Carroll had his 2 sons on that staff, and his son, the O-line coach, was a bit over his skis. It was one of those things where it's always great. Your dad will get you in the door, but and even if you stay there, maybe you shouldn't have that job all the time. And that's a big reason I heard that Pete Carroll isn't with the Raiders is because of his son.
I would just say that it hit me, I think, coming out here, that Kyle Shanahan was a success.
The top of the list right now. He and Clint Kubiak.
I think that people said, let me back up. At one point, I'd worked for the Rocky Mountain News.
Right.
And a guy who worked for the Denver Post told me, the Denver Post doesn't want you, but they want a Woody Paige. So they wanted someone that would be funny or opinionated like me. They had old guys. Dick Connor was a solid columnist. And I said, well, it's funny. Wouldn't you think they'd come after me?
Right.
He said, no, they don't want you. They want a Woody Paige. Kyle Shanahan, they can't get. So teams are out there trying to get a Kyle Shanahan type. That's what they're going for.
Right.
You look all over the world. Is anybody more a Kyle Shanahan type than Clint Kubiak, who is the son of Shanahan's
right-hand man?
Yes.
Protege.
And you look, there are 3 Kubiaks that are associated with the National Football League. One is with the United.
Right, with Kyle.
And one is with the Cowboys organization as a scout. So those 3 guys that I would see on the practice field as kids.
Sure.
I saw Kyle Shanahan after a Super Bowl when he was like 7 or 8 years old. I was hanging out with him. And the Mike Shanahan coaching tree just grows and grows. And yet the NFL Hall of Fame voters, of which I was one for a number of years, will not put him in yet. And every year we hear, well, Mike's got a chance. Well, now he was going to be demoted for Bill Belichick.
Right.
And that's been the story of the week, that Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft, neither one of them is getting in. Most successful Super Bowl pair, if you will, in history, and neither one's getting in.
What's that say about Tom Brady? He doesn't have a Hall of Fame coach or a Hall of Fame owner, and he still won 6 years.
Yeah. So you just told me shortly before we came on the air about Anthony Davis being traded.
Yeah.
Harden was traded last night to Cleveland, and
he's already asking for another trade.
But he did leave the Clippers in a classy way. He said, if I could help them, they're redeveloping, they're retooling this team, and maybe I can help them by going somewhere else. I think him going somewhere else helps the team. He's now going to Cleveland. He said, I want to go where we can win a championship. Well, he's a year late because Cleveland had a chance to win a championship last year, and I don't think they're going to have a chance. So we've seen Harden traded for what was the thing? 7 or 8 times in his career he's been traded.
Whenever he wants out. No one has gotten themselves traded more successfully, maybe in the history of sports, than James Harden, because he gets frustrated or whatever, gets in a mood, gets out, goes to Houston, Brooklyn,
and he gets more money
every time.
So Anthony Davis was traded for Luka, has been traded now. That was supposed to be the former general manager wanted to bring in Anthony Davis to lead to a championship. That has not.
You mean the future GM of the Lakers?
Yeah. So
Nico Harrison.
Anthony Davis is going for like 18 players and 6 draft choices to the Washington Wizards. Do you think Anthony Davis can turn the Washington Wizards into a championship team?
It's like asking, can Shedeur Sanders or any other quarterback we can name turn the Browns into a championship team?
I've seen a lot of Shador in the last
Pro
couple of
Pro
days.
Bowler. I talked to him 2 days ago.
And Deion said this week he's accomplished something. My son's accomplished something that I didn't do, and that was I didn't get into the Pro Bowl.
As a rookie, right?
It's a little tainted, maybe too strong a word, but
Sully.
They're basically called the Pro Bowl games now. I actually have gone to the Pro Bowl in the past, and when it was in Hawaii, it was a great event. Fans like going, the players
Loved it.
Yeah, now they're trying to. Hello, Jesse. Speaking of
Friend Jesse. 2 Jessies. We have lots of Jessies.
yes, Jesse's everywhere. He and I worked together for 14 days or something.
3. He held up to 3, so he thought it was 3 years.
3 days. So you and I will get along forever. Man, we were together. He was 14 years old.
Jesse has a kid that graduated
Jesse,
college.
We're live here. How are all? Is it 7 kids now?
How many kids?
Well, but the last time I asked you, that was about 3 or 4 years ago. I've assumed you're going for aren't you going for a Philip Rivers kind of?
Yeah, he's asking you if you want to match Philip Rivers. I think he's chilling on it now.
One more, and we got a basketball team.
Team.
So, what do you think about
the Harden thing or the Davis one?
Anthony Davis helped the Washington Wizards. Where is Giannis going to go?
Where's Giannis going to go is the most interesting thing because Harden, you never know what version you're getting because Harden has turned into, if he wants to be a facilitator and just play point guard, you still have Mitchell, you've got Mobley, you've obviously got good shooters there. So does he help him? What version are you getting? And he doesn't like defense, so you're not getting a better defender by any means. But still, James Harden, if you don't guard him, he can score 30. Anthony Davis, he's not even really playing or he's been hurt, and the Wizards are terrible. They traded C.J. McCollum. They get Trae Young. No, they got Trae Young.
Yes.
They have Trae Young and Anthony Davis.
Yeah. And that's not going to make much sense.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Giannis got to be the Warriors.
The Warriors have the best package available.
Yeah,
4-1.
it could be a two-team trade.
Yeah.
And maybe the Warriors could finally get rid of Draymond Green, although Jimmy Butler is probably going to be.
Jimmy Butler has to be just to make the money work. Jimmy Butler tore his ACL, and unlike Lindsey Vonn, he's out for the year. So you trade the contract, and the Bucks problem. There's no way he plays for the Bucks ever. I can't swear to that. But
we have a Denver sway to the Nuggets.
I'd like to see him if we got till tomorrow. I'd still like to see him move Zeke Naji for anything.
Does anybody want him? He's improved his swag, reputation during this injury period where he scored 12, 13 points, maybe 3 rebounds. I don't know that anybody wants him unless because he's still making a ton of money. And that's why the Nuggets would get rid of him. I don't know that anybody wants him unless the Nuggets throw in a first-round draft choice or something. And they don't have any first-round draft.
And the only reason you're trading him is, well, one, you're paying him more than you should, although it's not breaking the bank, but it's still a weird contract when they gave it to him. And I didn't understand what Calvin Booth was doing. But it allows you to sign Spencer Jones to a real contract, so he's in the G League the rest of the year. So
and the more
that's why it matters.
The more, I had a suggestion on the show yesterday back in Denver that if the Crockies, father and son, elder and younger, really had balls, they would take the money they just got for a midfielder, the Colorado Rapids, who's homegrown.
Right.
I mean,
right.
why do you get rid of the only homegrown player
That's
you
the
have?
best part of the MLS is the homegrown thing.
Yeah. So they're getting approximately $3 million. It could vary because of what he accomplished next year. So take that $3 million and go, let's add some more on and make sure we get Peyton Watson back.
Yeah. I think Peyton Watson has made himself so much money. I hate that Christian Brown's been hurt.
How many you talked about all the Brandons since you are one. that have played for the Broncos. How many Pages have there been in Denver?
There should be a law firm. Peyton. And it's 4 just off the top of my head. They should trade for Peyton Pritchard.
There was a Peyton that people forget. He was a defensive back, I think.
Peyton Hillis, a running back.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
There was a defensive back who became a school teacher. His last name was Peyton.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that Peyton.
So there's at least been 5 Peytons, and how many Brandons have been with the Broncos?
Well, there's been 2 Brandon Marshalls. Both Brandon Marshalls. Brandon McManus, Brandon Jones now, Brandon Johnson, the wide receiver, whose dad, Charles Johnson. I'm forgetting 1 or 2. Brandon Stokely.
You leaving him out?
It's a fun trivia fact. Brandon
all
Marshall.
of you born about the same 2 or 3 year span?
Well, I mean, Brandon Johnson's a lot younger than me, but Stokely's 2 years older than me or 3 years older than me. Brandon Marshall's 6 or 7 younger than me. Brandon Marshall. I don't know. It's a popular name. I was named after the Bill Bixby's son on the Courtship of Eddie's father, Brandon Cruz, the actor.
He was also in the
My Favorite Martian.
Yeah, My Favorite Martian.
We're not.
Speaking of Brandon's,
You want to talk to Vic?
yeah,
I know he's got some Brandon stories,
will.
and he can save my voice. No, come on.
Vic, we're doing live. We are.
You guys on right now?
Yes. Are you on? What are you on right now? Yeah.
It's unearned.
The legendary Vince Lombardi couldn't be with us today.
You know Vince Lombardi died when he was only 57 years old?
Yes. And
I'm almost 57.
and they put him in the Hall of Fame. There's been a lot of talk about coaches in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They would have had, when I was on it, there was no rule in regarding who wouldn't you could put on coach on. And I was there for 15 years, and we went through a bunch of coaches. But Lombardi, they put him in a year late. He died, and then they put him in the next year. And I didn't want that to happen to the Bill Parcells and to the Joe Gibbs, Mike Shanahan's, Dan Reeves.
Dan Reeves.
And Dan Reeves deserved to be in there. I don't know why my co-partners, who are Hall of Famers, I would ask them all the time. I said, "Well, they go, he never won a Super Bowl." I said, "He won a Super Bowl as a player.
Right.
He was on like 3 Super Bowl teams. And, he was a coach. He was a coach with the Cowboys. He was a player. He was a coach. He was a player coach, which is so rare."
Woody, it astonishes me that the humanity of the voting panel doesn't understand. Are we on the air right
We're
now?
on the air. We're live.
Okay, I can never tell. You guys are on all the time. I can never tell if we're live or not. The humanity of the people doing the voting. Sometimes you have to take yourself out of that professional box. You got to meet these requirements. I just think of that person as a human being. Don't you think they want to be there to receive that honor? Don't you think their family wants to see them up there to receive that jacket? That's the part that I don't understand.
At one time, when I was there, the origin was one representative from every NFL team.
Right. Yeah.
What happened then is some NFL teams do. So then they keep the guy, like if Oakland moved to LA, keep the guy, add a guy from LA. St. Louis, 16.
Cleveland.
So the number went up from 32 to about 38. Then they decided to put some at-large into it. This is where I had one of the problems, and I eventually got kicked out because I was too outspoken.
They kicked you out? That's literally got kicked out?
Yeah. When I moved to New York, they said
Jim Armstrong got the vote for Denver.
Really?
For a little bit.
Jeff Ledbetter.
Now, like, yeah.
I recommended Jim Armstrong.
Oh.
And
The
Jeff
post said no.
Ledbetter-
Right.
Yeah, the post said we couldn't do.
It would be a
voting
conflict of
anymore.
interest. What are you conflicted with?
So anyway, the point I was making is it went to 38 at large. Oddly enough, all those are at large people are in New York.
Oh, yeah, Peter King.
So now New York has got a whole really guys like Paul Zimmerman, writers in New York, broadcasters in New York. And I went, well, that's not right. And so when I went to New York, they said, we can't have you on the committee anymore. I said, why? He said,
Too many New Yorkers.
No, but no. Well, he did say that, but he's the head of the thing. But he said, you're not in Denver anymore. I said, you think I had forgotten I said, I covered the Broncos longer than anybody, and you're saying to me, because I moved out of Denver? I said, you're bringing in state your friend Wall, who covered the Tennessee Titans. He had no history.
Right.
He has done a great job. Thrilled that he really was responsible for he pushed that.
Yeah.
I was there for John Elway. I gave the shortest because it used to be on the Saturday before the Super Bowl. We'd meet in a place like this. Richard's at 12 for 10, 12 hours. So I was amazed about what people said. A guy who I knew about was the father of a very influential play-by-play announcer now.
The father
He got
of
Will McDonough. Sean
Oh,
McDonough.
yeah.
Sean McDonough.
Yeah.
Will got up and said, he's the late Will McDonough. He got up and said, I will never vote for a punter or a kicker, and I want 40 of you to agree with me. And I thought, Ray Guy was up, and I went, Ray Guy was I thought he was going to be shooting.
Yeah.
Ray Guy was the greatest punter for the first 70 years of the. And I told Ray once, I said, he finally got in. I said, I was shocked by that. You put a kicker in, Jan Stinnerud, was like the first true kicker. And I said, yeah. I said, there was so much. You were the greatest. He was.
That's crazy that mentality is.
But I remember, and I told them that I sat next to God. It was all secret, but I could see. You could see. We were paper ballots. We weren't the machines. Trump would have liked the Hall of Fame, and I could see him and everything. And I said to him once, I said, "Do you have something about black players?" And he said, "No, vote for them." Can you imagine that on a national level?
Yeah.
And I won't reveal his name, but he would not even vote for a black player that was the best player ever on his team.
That's wild.
You have a guy that says, I've never been put a punter or a kicker. We had a situation one night where who's the lineman from the St. Louis Cardinals that went on the money?
Dan Deerdorf.
A guy got up and said, this is all kept secret. He says, I'm not putting him on it. He'll be on the
television.
Yeah, he'll be the week of the thing. He'll be promoted. And I'm like,
so what?
So I'm telling you guys that all of the conversation around Hall of Fame this week, that it needs a total. And that means have fans. I finally got them to do. I didn't get him, but I kept saying get Hall of Famers.
Yeah, and they have 4 now.
Yeah, like in baseball. And I said, women. We had no women when I got onto the team. I replaced Dick Conner, who died. He'd done it for a number of years. And I bring up these things, and it got me kicked out because I was too transparent. Because I would say what went in it. And I think I also got kicked out because I gave the shortest speech in the history of the Hall of Fame.
But effective. It worked.
Yeah.
Is it John Elway?
No, it was. I made a mistake. When I got up, I'd gone to Steamboat Springs. I'd read this long harangue about John Elway. And I went, everybody knows who John Elway.
Yeah.
So I stood up and I said, gentlemen, remember I said,
gentlemen,
no women, gentlemen, John Elway. Sat back down. They gave me a standing ovation. I thought it was for,
a lot of time.
I thought it was either for John Elway, but everybody told me that moved that along. And they said, that's going to happen for. And so I think I'm going to always do that because if you get up and say, gentlemen and women, have to use 2 more words to get that.
Well, Tom Brady is going to.
Anyway, so we were just talking as you moved up. We went to another company.
Yeah, this is good.
You got Anthony Davis just traded to Washington.
Yep.
2 things. Questions for you. Let's take a look.
I'm finding it again.
Harden says he wants to be part of a championship run in Cleveland.
Oh, I haven't heard that one before.
We're trying to figure out how many times he got traded. That said the same thing.
I've never seen a player, and I mean this with all due respect, right? The guy personally, I don't know him.
Why does it have to be?
Because when you say that, anything you say afterwards is allowed. But I've never seen somebody actually manipulate the league as much as he has to go from city to city, franchise to franchise, looking for a ring and coming nowhere close to a ring. He's not a winning player. He's a statistical player. He's an offensive threat, has been so the entire career, but he can't win. So I don't understand why teams keep falling for this. Does Cleveland suddenly think that it's a winning team now, that it's a threat to win? In fact, it's made them, they're not going to win. Hey, this just in. Cleveland is not winning the NBA title with James Harden.
It's a year late.
It's not going to happen. I don't understand why people don't see this. I mean, how many teams does it take to figure out James Harden in the playoffs is not the James Harden you see in the regular season? Not happening.
And he's not going to win your championship. He might lose you a championship.
Yes.
We've seen it in Houston and Los Angeles, Philadelphia,
Brooklyn.
He demands the ball too much, and he doesn't play defense. It's just, it doesn't work.
Guess who's coming?
Well, to talk to the AP.
Oh, nice. Is he coming here? Or is
The AP at 3 o'clock.
I think he told us he would come in,
Okay.
and especially when he knows you're here.
Yeah. I already spoke to him. I got him once today.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, he's
I
looking
talked to
svelte.
I said to him, we were talking about his NFL Network career, and I said, one time when he was being contracted, I was going to be a free agent, and I get a call from the NFL. I feel like this, and the guy at the NFL Network, there was a vice president, had hired me, and he said, "How would you like to come to the NFL Network?" And I said, "Well, Terrell Davis is working there." I said, "Wouldn't want to cost him." He said, "Yeah, you be on the morning show." And I said, "Terrell tells me you have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning." I said, "I've already done that with Cool Pizza in New York, where I get up at." I said, "I'm not going to do that." He called me back and he said, so I asked him, "Well, let's get something for Woody." He said, "The president of the NFL Network says, there's no humor on the NFL Network."
We don't do
And
funny.
he said, "Hey, what do you mean?" He said, "The NFL, the National Football League, doesn't want funny."
They don't want funny.
And Woody is funny. He said, "Those guys, the guys in the NFL Network would tell me that they'd get off at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
With PPI and ran on. He said, they would make drinks and we'll go in and watch the shows." So we'll watch the other day. And I said, these are the same guys that would drink every afternoon to watch on TV. And now they're saying they don't like humor. I said, that's why I'm on TV, is because I want the humor.
It's one of the reasons to do this.
So anyway, Anthony Davis. Terrell. I said, "Terrell, I didn't take the job at the NFL Network. You got up at 2 So Terrell's going to join us during the course of the week.
And Anthony Davis trade, good for him, but it makes the Mavs trade look even sillier.
Well,
for Luka.
essentially, it's the Mavs trade. The Mavs traded 2 first-rounders and 3 second-rounders. That's what they get from Luka. That's the net result of that trade.
I grew up in Dallas. I used to consider myself a Mavs fan, and it waned over the years. But when they made that move last time, I'm totally out. Mark Cuban's gone, Dirk's gone, Luka's been like, it's easy to not want any success from those owners, and I hate it for my friends.
It starts there, as Woody would know. I mean, these teams, and clearly I know what your take is on ownership in sports, but if an ownership group allows you to trade Luka Doncic the way they did and get nothing, that's on the ownership. I don't care who you hire. I don't care who makes the move. I don't care who the GM is, the coach. I don't know. But if the ownership allows it, that's on the ownership.
Yeah, and I would take in all ownership of the National Football League.
Yes.
If not one of them that was qualified to be an NFL coach. Those of us in Denver know that. Well, let me bring up Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan took it over. The Oakland Raiders network right over from us. Mike Shanahan took a job he should have, but he was 33, 34 years old. He and Al Davis didn't get along, but that made him a better coach. Yeah. He came back and Dan Reeves fired him, and he went to San Francisco and won a championship because he studied under Bill Walsh. Dan shows up, wasn't prepared to be a head coach. It just worked. Now he's ready. Yeah. He's coached under Tom Paige. He is coached under Vic Fangio's system. Found his own system, and you can't. So I had said to Tom Green and Ron Spolo, I said he was this year's, forgive me, token interview. That they didn't really want him; they just wanted to fulfill the Rooney Rule, and that is so unfair. And you should either get rid of the Rooney Rule, say you a bunch of bagheads, owners, but you can't find one black coach, not one in this
I
cycle.
talked to Tony Dungy about it the other night at opening night. He said that the process needs to be overhauled too, that the Rooney Rule isn't working in the favor of black coaches.
I also think that the jobs that were available in this period, they wanted the offensive line over the defense.
Or John Harbaugh.
Yeah,
Or John Harbaugh.
I really think that the Arizona job, because he had coached there before, I think he would have gotten it if he were the offense.
Yeah, or if he really, really wanted it, I think maybe could have pushed harder for him.
I agree. I don't know if he wanted that job.
And I told him so that Cal Shanahan, Cal Shanahan, the guy who he was
Yeah.
offensive coach. Okay, let's hire Mike McDonald. Hire another McDonald. Let's hire
Matt LaFleur, Mike
I'm
LaFleur.
looking at all those coaches and I go, man, they're trying to hire the same guy. So you're competing.
The reason Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay are now the 2 longest tenured coaches behind Andy Reid. Just because you want those guys, there's still only one Kyle Shanahan and one Sean McVay. The rest can all coach a little, maybe.
And they're both under the age of 45.
That's crazy. Well, but they're both groomed, whatever. They grew up and they had the right everything.
So what happened? I'm not good. So over the weekend, anybody that was a sports fan in Colorado went, "Wow, greatest rivalry in the history of the NHL in the last 45 years: Red Wings, Avalanche. Avalanche go there, kick their ass." Here we go. Yeah. Oh, wow. Jokic comes back. One of the great nights of his career when you consider that he had like 5-on-5. And you go, wow, we're back on track. We are Colorado. We're back on track. We were the number 1 seed in this sport. We could be the number 1 seed in this sport, number 1 seed in this sport. Well, we won't be the even the 29 seed in the other sport. Then talk about a turnaround. So we bite the bullet against the OKC Thunder, and I'm sitting there going, man, they look so much better than
They did.
Nuggets.
They did.
You have to take into the interviews, the telecast. They talked about OKC's injuries.
I know. They never mentioned the Nuggets were missing 3.
Right.
Yeah. So then I'm watching the Avalanche play against. Everybody's got to watch the Avalanche game. They score in 30 seconds, and the next score is 30 seconds to left in the
That
game.
was the most boring hockey game of the season.
That was a game that was crying out for an 8-man.
You know, the Avs to me just look like they want to take their winter break. It's time to get to the winter break, right? And
Like
they're injured.
We need to bring Jesse over.
He's more dialed in, obviously, than we'll ever be with this. But
Yeah, the
that
winter
looks
break
like a
is
tired
yes.
team that wants to get to the break, reassemble in late February, and then make that march toward the playoffs. That's what that team is. The Nuggets have a different issue. The Nuggets have to figure out, again, who they are by getting these bodies back. I mean, they sort of lost a sense of who they are. That's what I see.
Do you think
Ask me
there's
this.
a deal to be made for the Nuggets and why they would do it if they were going to do it?
I think they would make a deal of significance for 2 reasons. If they could shed enough salary to make it worthwhile, and I mean salary that doesn't play enough. Like, look, we've seen Zeke Naji
That's what
play,
we're talking about.
and we've seen him play. But will he be in the playoff rotation? As of now, I don't think he will be. If they could shed that salary and turn it around for something that would be in the playoff rotation, I could see them
But
make the
is
deal.
it enough to move on from him to make the Spencer Jones thing work, or can they make it work without that move?
Would you do it for somebody like Pickett? One of the other? I mean, they're guys on the bench and say, yeah, I do it.
The way I look at it, Woody, my checklist is pretty simple. If there's somebody to trade for, will he play during the playoffs? If it's yes, make the trade. If it's I don't know, then you're not making the trade.
Well,
it's got to be a
again,
yes.
You're talking about shedding salary cap, which is important in regard to players.
Peyton Watson coming up. If keep him. Yes.
That I may have, you know me a long time. You know, Fred and I have solutions oriented. I'm not a bad guy for the boys downtown. I heard that that was in the Paul Newman movie where
Sure.
he was defending the lady and he goes, "You've always been a bag boy for the guys, for the boys downtown." So anyway, you know I'm not a bag boy, but I thought, okay, Stan, okay, Josh, take that $3 million you just got for Colorado Rapids, homegrown player. Oh, our guy. You've traded him away for money. You didn't trade him away. No, that sounds like a Rockies kind of move. Take that and move it over to the Nuggets.
I think the Rockies traded the move and spend the money.
Here's the problem, guys. Here's the problem. And it's not my money. I wish they spent all the money in the world. It doesn't guarantee you anything in these damn NBA playoffs because you get one rib injury, one ankle injury, and it all comes crashing down. If things, I'm telling you, that's what scares the hell out of me about the NBA. These guys just, can they survive a playoff run? If you don't have newsflash. If Aaron Gordon is not healthy for the entire NBA run, the Denver Nuggets are not going to change. It's that simple. It's that simple.
You got to be fearful. I mean, I'm fearful every time you go.
I mean, and that applies to everybody in every team. I don't know how many teams can survive without their top players.
That's why we all question players being held up. And thanks to flawless. But this is where you run into be playing 16 games.
Oh, I mean, we all know that. Then you're going down another edge. Are you gonna? Are the players going to take less?
No.
You've already opened that Pandora's box. They're not going back. I mean, I was up at that NFLPA press conference yesterday, and the guy says we don't have the appetite for 18 games. I tell you, what can get you the appetite? You open up the pocketbook, you'll get the appetite real quick. So
that's the last thing that they can really negotiate for. This is the players' last stand that they can take to get more of whatever they want. In this case, money for the most part.
I have a partner's question for you. Where would you like for them to play hard games? There's one you haven't. Either one.
Go to Australia.
An international game, Mexico City.
Makes sense. At Niners or at the Rams.
Mexico City makes more sense, I think.
Or Cardinals, I'm sorry. Cardinals. Yeah. Cardinals, Niners, Broncos all have Mexico City as their
What do you want, Greenland?
It's another American city.
So
Country.
I've been to,
State.
I went to the two in Japan.
Yeah.
I went to the one in Australia. I went to the one in Mexico City with the Broncos.
Don't leave.
Woody, what's the difference? Have you walked out here? Have you walked out here?
It's a little dicey.
Yeah. So Berlin.
I'd go to Spain would be cool. Paris
Barcelona.
would have been cool, but Paris. How about they're sending Cleveland and New Orleans to Paris?
I've done
If they could ever pull one in my home country and not believe
that'd be amazing. Probably coming.
I've seen 8. So that's why I was asking you. I like the London games. I was with when Josh McDaniels was playing. That was a game.
I was at that one.
Yeah.
Video. Yep. 49ers. So Josh, they had the Broncos practicing on a pitch, and McDaniels says, "How does this cricket game work?" And so I go get a stick, a bat, and a ball. And I said, "Stand over there." And, at that point I was a lot younger. Now I knew I control a cricket ball. But he stood there and it went right there. I said, "I thought you were supposed to throw to go back."
No, he's baseball.
Yeah.
Well, in London last year, they practiced at Tottenham. It was a great trip, great facility. Tottenham was amazing. The game was awesome, but they don't need to go to London again. But Goodell did say that he wants to get to a point where you have 16 out-of-country games, so every team plays one. I don't know logistically how you pull it off, but we'll watch it. even if it's at 7:30 in the morning in Denver and 6:30 in the morning out here.
It's the NFL. You play it anywhere.
But it feels like it makes it closer to a Super Bowl in London, or a Super Bowl anywhere, but likely London if you go outside the country.
You could play a Super Bowl abroad. I mean,
We'd go.
that'd be great. I mean, if you tell me you have media row in London, that'd be awesome.
Kickoff would be like
Are you
10
kidding me?
at night there, and it'd make it normal time in America.
And I've been there 3 times. Australia is my favorite
Is it?
country
Yeah.
in the whole world. I would have moved. I actually got offered a job down there during the Olympics. And I said, man, here's the problem I have with it. I said, you know, I get on a plane and go to Australia, and I see 8 movies.
That's 6 too many for the trip.
I hate eating 4 meals. I drink 2 bottles of scotch, and I look up and I still got 12 hours to go. I said, "You're too far away. You are too far away." I would like you to go. They played the only exhibition like the year before. The Olympic Stadium down there.
Yeah.
They played. I'm going up straight. You guys were. They played for 3 days to open up this stadium. Soccer and NFL football.
On the same field?
And everybody, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, everybody agreed the worst game was the NFL game.
Oh, yeah.
And a guy says to me, he was a sports writer in Australia, and he says, explain to me why they have a conference every 30 seconds.
Conference.
And I said, well, that's called a huddle. He said, okay, why do they, we're playing here, they just keep playing until something happens. And I said, that's probably a good idea for the NFL. They didn't have a clue about it. I mean, they had watched it and stuff. But it was funny that they went, that's better than what we're doing here.
Doesn't surprise.
Yeah, rugby. I think they had a rugby match
Yeah,
too.
that makes
so
sense.
4th grade days.
Yeah.
And I went, all of it is bad. So if I were picking, I thought that Barcelona was the best atmosphere and the best lead up because they have the food stuff that their street, their version of 16th Street Mall. That's an unfair comparison.
But what's it called? It's called the
Fonda.
It was great in the Dream Team documentary how Charles Barkley would just go wandering up and down that street.
It's called a
promenade.
I mean, it's people, a lot of people have been to London. They've been to Paris. Barcelona is still out there as, I think, exotic.
Never been.
Yeah. Most people I know, that would be like 4th on your list.
Las Ramblas. La Rambla.
The Rambla.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a great opportunity for people in Europe.
Yeah.
And you have to respond to Barcelona.
The DIA is just growing with the international directs.
That would be my pick. I would like to see them go to Ireland.
Yeah. Because that.
I'm not being funny about this. I think that Notre Dame going to Ireland.
They need to go back to Ireland. I mean, they play a college game there every year. The NFL finally played an NFL game this year. They're skipping it next year. Talking to the folks from Ireland that are here covering the Super Bowl, they're disappointed that they're doing 9, including 3 in London, but didn't get a repeat in Ireland. I don't mind the international games. I think an international team would be tricky. I think you would need 2 in Europe.
That would be tough.
And I don't think you could. I don't want to add more divisions. I don't want a 4-team division in Europe. How do you make the math work on the playoffs and the schedule? If you move the Chargers and the Jaguars to London and Spain, you can kind of make it work. Match the schedules, you can get them over here. But otherwise, I think we'll just see these one-offs all over the world.
Yeah. For those just joining us, we are live, and when Vic Lombardi said it, we said, we're going live.
I didn't know we were live.
We just,
Yes, and then it lives in
And so we should mention for people that are listening on ships at sea.
Yes.
And
Well,
around
hello,
the world.
everybody at Guerilla Sports. I've been here since 5 a.m.
Oh, geez.
So anyway, I would like to kind of do 3 Super Bowls you get to.
This is probably number 17 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to do the math the other day.
And said this is not
19 week of this will be my 15th game to get to go to the actually see the game.
mine's 47. So anyway,
Well-
we have a combination here of
almost 100.
That's a lot of Super Bowls, and every time I come here, I say to myself, okay, I can't do this.
I get it. And keep coming back.
Yeah. So,
Like Al
question,
Pacino,
so
Godfather.
Start the week for us of starting Guerilla the next 3 days and interviewing. We've already.
Well, good.
I went up to Stephen A. Smith, and he got. He said, "I knew you so. I knew you so. How you doing?" And I went, "Can you calm it down a little bit?"
Did you go to the media party last night?
Yes.
Boy, that was cramped.
That was the worst.
Were you there?
It was
That
tight.
was the worst meeting.
That was terrible.
It's maybe the worst one.
Oh,
Phoenix wasn't
And
very
I
good.
told my friend, I said, "This is the worst one."
it
of
was
all time."
terrible. It was too cramped, and I couldn't get to.
Last year,
You
New
would
Orleans was
appreciate this,
awesome, and Vegas was
again,
awesome.
You've known me forever. I walked out of there and I saw Brandon and a bunch of the guys, and I said, "You know what was bad about this night?" And they said, "Well, most everything." I was the most famous person there last night because people were because it was mostly young people that were in different kinds of
Operation.
media. And every one of them came up and they all said to me, "Really miss you on Around the Horn." And I go, "I don't think I miss is a check."
Yeah.
But I said, that is bad party when it's me that people are coming up to, but I'm looking for somebody to talk to that, I want to go up to, a former quarterback or, somebody that's in the media that even guys that I know from Dallas and stuff, I'd get people come up to me. I'm from Puerto Rico. And I said, yeah, and you're part of our country in case anybody's not, and he said, watch you on TV all the time. How could I be like you? I said, you mean out of work?
Hey, you work long enough, you'll be out of work.
Just keep doing it.
So anyway, this is listen to this. We've talked about the number combined Super Bowls. So is this one going to be a contest? Or
It's
is it
funny.
going to be the Seattle?
I think Seattle's going to win, but I don't remember having less. And maybe it's because of what happened to. I don't have much interest in this game.
There's nobody. The problem is there's no stars. There's no stars for either team.
The star appeal
There's not
is
Christian McCaffrey. There's not Mahomes. There's
Let
not
me
Joe
ask you this,
Burrow.
though. Let's say the Broncos won, and that was close.
It would be the same way.
Because
It would be the same way.
people would say,
Yeah.
I think it would be even worse because people
Yeah.
say, God, I remember that last one. It was 10 years
No,
ago.
you're right. You're right.
12 years ago, it was 38-6. I heard Patrick Surtain second.
He told me that
He predicted
35-7.
Is that what he told you?
He told me that.
I
it
saw
was the
that.
same score as the last one with the Broncos. There.
That one was 43 to.
It's not
8.
There's not a lot of buzz.
No, it's a tough one. I saw your interview with Drew Lock.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh crap, I forgot Drew
Right,
Lock.
Drew's here,
It's like I'm reminded of former Broncos. That's the only interest I had. Bro.
JSN may be the best receiver in football, but there's nothing dynamic. He's not Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a national appeal yet, even though he's really awesome. The Patriots have Drake May, who has played pretty poorly in the playoffs, but won. Maybe the MVP, but probably not Stafford, who we think is going to win. But that's it. Name me more Patriots than anyone. Steph Diggs because he dates Cardi B.
Yeah.
But there's no buzz.
No, it's not there.
Yeah, doesn't mean we're not going to watch it, and we'll look for a good game.
28-17 Seahawks.
Yeah, I like them to cover too by a lot.
I think the Patriots are going to fine. I think the Patriots are going to make it
Interesting.
not a blowout.
Okay.
Because they have a coach that
Yeah.
I think.
I do like their coach.
And if I remember correctly, and I'm going on a limb out on a limb today. Now, I think he was a coach in a game that was decided in the last play. Was he at Tennessee at that time, or was that before his time?
Was he? Was he at? I don't know. I don't know. Was he
I think that might have been
No,
before his
that was
Rams Titans?
no,
that had to be.
that was way before his time.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was playing for the Patriots then.
Boys, I got to run.
All right, we're gonna let you go, Woody. We're gonna take a break too and come back in an hour when Shelby Harris gets here.
I'm only programmed to do 5 minutes of television.
No, at a time, 30 seconds.
And I'm only recorded to do 700 words a day.
Thanks, boys.
See ya. That's Vic Lombardi. So that's what we're gonna do, Woody. We're gonna take a quick break for a little bit and come back in about an hour.
So will it be
2
long
o'clock.
enough for me to go to the bathroom?
I guess
it depends on what kind of bathroom task I have.
It'll be about an hour, about 45, 50 minutes.
It's Guerilla Sports.
I do.
And we
And we have to thank our friends at Landmark Lincoln, Refi Jet, for getting us out here. So make sure you're checking out. You're in the market for a new
And
car.
we also we've got a list. We started with
It's a long
at
list.
the bottom.
Brandon
Big.
Marshall, Ed McCaffrey, Terrell Davis. Let's keep going. They all said they're going to come by. Now we got to get them to come by.
And we're going to try our best to make sure that Brandon keeps his voice for 3 days.
I'm going to get some hot tea at Starbucks.
We'll be back.